You're listening to the Life with Old Dogs podcast, and I'm your host, Dawn Mimnaugh, primary caretaker of all of our wonderful senior German Shepherds right here at Woody's Place Senior German Shepherd Sanctuary. Hey there, folks. This is Dawn here from the Life with Old Dogs podcast, and I am thrilled and honored to be here this week with Mark Robinson of Walkin Pets. Walkin Pets. We have several of the Walkin Pets products, and we are true believers in what they have to offer. So, Mark, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here. I love what you guys do, and it's great to be a part of your solutions.
Oh, and likewise, absolutely. Right off the bat, you make our lives and what we do here very much easier. With what we're doing with dogs in general. German Shepherds tend to have mobility issues as they get older. So whether it's degenerative myelopathy or not, your products have come in handy on numerous occasions. So thank you. Mark, can you tell us how you got started with Walkin Pets?
Thanks, Don. Many years ago, before the advent of the internet, I had a dog who was diagnosed with canine epilepsy. And he was actually, at the time, he was snapping and growling at my newborn son. And the vet said that it was incurable and it would probably continue to happen, and the only solution was to put the dog to sleep, which I did. Years later, a dear friend developed epilepsy, a person, and I had the internet then, and I did all kinds of research to understand this disease and what to do about it. And while I was doing this research, what I learned was if I had had the internet when my dog was sick, I would have made a much more informed choice. So I set out to create the resource that I had wished that I had. And it started as a message board, grew into a website where I was providing some of the products that some of the people needed at that point. I think it was mostly ramps and harnesses. As the message board grew and the discussions grew, I began to see that there was a change going on in the world, that people were beginning to treat their pets as family, and that this shift was showing up in their desire to care for their animals, to give their animals the care and attention that any other family member would need. Around 2005, I started developing a wheelchair. I saw that the other wheelchairs on the market were custom made, required over a dozen measurements, and a non-refundable deposit. 2 weeks later, somebody would get their wheelchair, and hopefully it fit their dog. If not, it sometimes went back to the manufacturer. People loved these wheelchairs. They gave their dogs a whole new life, but they complained about them. They couldn't fit in the back seat of the car because they couldn't fold flat. Took 3 weeks, couldn't adjust. They'd walk down the street, and it was really a collection of tubing and radiator clips. People would say, "Oh, don't torture the poor thing. Why don't you put him to sleep?" Mm. So this whole community found this message board and realized that here they have a community where they can talk about their problems. So I solved those problems with some really brilliant engineers and created Walkin Wheels.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. And how true. And as you were telling us your journey there, I was thinking in my head about the wheel carts that you were talking about, and how cumbersome they could be. And I'm not saying they weren't, not good products, but just not as easy to use as Walking Pets. And here at Woody's place, we've been there. We've been there. We were one of those people with Woody back in 2010 in one of the wheel carts that it was exactly what you just described. We took the measurements numerous times, and the wheel cart didn't fit him right, and therefore he hated the wheel cart. And the end result is people do love their pets as family, and they want to help their pets, not hurt their pets. So to see them in a wheel cart that just doesn't fit properly and they're not getting the results that they want, that just adds to their frustration and anguish that they're already feeling. So it is imperative to have a wheel cart that is specific to that dog. And what I love most about your wheel cart is it's fully adjustable. And we what we do is when we get a senior German Shepherd, a new senior German Shepherd, let's say, he comes in and he has degenerative myelopathy. We get out our tools and we bring out that wheel cart. And of course, it takes several adjustments and several go arounds here at the sanctuary. And then we make a couple more adjustments, and bada bing, bada bang, he's off and going because he's in a wheelchair that fits him correctly. So, yeah.
Sometimes I see that when a dog comes. Every now and then, people will bring their dogs to our facility here, and we get to see them hands-on. And to see a dog when we fit him for the chair, and he hasn't walked in 5 years, he gets into the wheelchair, and all of a sudden, he's off across the parking lot. Mm-hmm. They didn't bring a leash because they hadn't needed a leash in 5 years, and all of a sudden, we're chasing him across the parking lot. It's a joyful occasion.
Right. Of course it is. Of course, it must make your heart full to see that you are providing, that you truly are a savior. You really are, because you have provided, you've basically extended the lives of these dogs who truly needed it and bought more time with their family who loves them dearly. So yeah, absolutely.
I recently had that feeling tenfold. I had the privilege of going to Bangkok. And in Bangkok, there's a man, and his name is the man who rescues dogs. He takes dogs off the street in Bangkok and brings them to this rescue. And he has 35 dogs in wheelchairs, all in walking wheels.
Wow.
And there's a great scene on the website, and I think it's also on TikTok and Facebook and everywhere I can place it, where I'm standing there and it's their walk time. And all of a sudden, 35 dogs in wheelchairs are running toward me. To see them playing and barking and running, that was very heartening.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We recently, well, not recently, but in the not too far off past, we had a senior German Shepherd here, Jared, and we had him and his brother, and they both had degenerative myelopathy. Unfortunately, Jensen was a little too far gone to really adapt to the wheel cart. But Jared, it was like when we put him in that wheel cart, he had such a desire to go. We barely had him in the wheel cart before he was trying to take off. And I'm sure this happens, Mark, but they get so crazy that sometimes they flip in their wheel cart and they look like turtles on their backs, and they need to be rescued and whatnot. But even that didn't deter him from slowing down. He just took off like a greyhound running a race.
Exercise is life.
Yeah.
When these dogs get this exercise, not only does it bring back their sense of life, but based on a recent article, and it's mentioned in our blog, that the exercise will actually slow the progression of degenerative myelopathy,
right?
So that you can get years more life.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we began to notice over time and listening to our customers was that as a degenerative disease, this and many others start very early. And one of the problems that we were having was the dogs weren't getting their wheelchairs early enough. to really extend their life, to get the exercise, to get the joy that's still left. As time went on, we developed a whole line of other products that begins with a rear end support leash, our buddy up lift and go support leash. This is a leash. It's a very simple product, very inexpensive, and it's like a leash that goes around the back legs on the rear end, so that as you're walking your dog and he's getting a little bit of weakness, you're just giving him a little support from the end that needs the most help.
Right.
That way he's continuing to exercise, and it's just, exercise is life. As the disease progresses, we change the lift and go leash to the lift and go harness, which is a rear support harness. And that has a handle on it, so long handles on it, so that rather than just giving a little support on the leg, it gives a lot of support on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
As the dog's disease degenerates further, we can put a front harness on that attaches to the rear harness, so that now the dog's getting help on the front and the back. The front harness also has clips on it, so that as the disease progresses even further, you clip the harness that he's already used to and already loves right into the wheelchair. So it's almost no transition for the dog. He's going from a harness that you're lifting to a harness that the wheels are supporting.
Right.
When we first built into the design of the wheelchair, the adjustability is also allowing for degenerative type diseases, because as it starts out, we have the wheels high up and his feet on the ground, so that he's actually walking. But if his legs fall out from under him, he doesn't fall. The wheels support him. As the disease progresses further, we'll lift the wheelchair a little bit higher and put some boots on him so he doesn't scrape his legs.
Right.
And then when he loses use of his legs altogether, we can put them up in the leg rings, in the stirrups.
Yep.
So this whole process, what we want to do is we want to start helping the dog as soon as he begins to experience some weakness.
Right. And that's pretty much when you pretty much notice it when they're trying to get up from a sitting or a laying position, or you can see when they're standing and their back end starts to sag. That's when they start to need help. I have a question for you. When would you say would be the right time to put them in a wheel cart? When would you say would be the right time to graduate from the harness to the wheel cart?
As you're caring for your dog, you really get in touch with the dog's weakness and disabilities. I almost want to say it becomes obvious. You know when the time is right. When you're providing pretty much complete support from time to time on the rear end, when he can't walk without your support, then it's time to give him the permanent support. So, for example, if you've graduated from the up and go leash to the lift and go harness and you're holding it all the time,
right?
Whether you hold it or put it in a wheelchair almost makes no difference to the dog. The dog's going to get the support he needs on the back end.
Right.
So, and to put him in the wheelchair early, of course, is a good idea because he gets used to it while he's still active.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. There is a fine balance there, I think, because I also feel like you don't want to do it too soon, because then I feel like their back end atrophies quicker if you do it too soon. So there is I think a little bit of a fine line there of when to put them in and when not to. But I agree with you that, when you're basically, you are the one, standing for them, that's when it's time.
Well, along those lines, the atrophy of the rear end, one of the things that we notice a lot when we'll watch an active dog in a wheelchair, is the movement of his legs is free and clear. Even when they're up in the stirrups, as a dog is walking, you'll see his legs moving back and forth vigorously to the extent that he can. So if the dog has muscle control in the rear end, whether he's in the wheelchair or not, he will use those muscles. If he's walking in the wheelchair, if he's still just at the point where his legs give out on him every once in a while, and the wheelchair is adjusted right, then he's still walking on his back legs. So it's important to understand the atrophy issue, but it's not as common as you might think.
Right. Okay. The harness. So the Buddy Up harness that you were speaking of, I must have had my head in a cloud, because I had no idea that you had even had a product like that until, I want to say, maybe like 2 years ago, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And it was like the skies opened up and the angels hugged me, because it was just so wonderful being able to have that harness. And as you just said, the dog stays in the harness. You simply line up the cart and you clip them right into the cart with that harness without having to adjust anything, take anything off. It was a true godsend. And for us, there's no looking back now. That's the way we're going every single time.
I hope your dog feels the same way.
Well, he's deceased now. That one's deceased now. But as I sit here at my desk, I have another right in front of me, Prince, who has degenerative myelopathy. And probably in another, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 months, he's going to start needing some sort of a device to aid him in getting around. But yeah, that harness is it's absolutely fantastic. And like you said, the transition from the beginning of that whole product system to the cart is such an easy transition for the caregiver of a dog with mobility issues, whether it be DM or not. You have really thought that whole thing through, for sure.
I don't get credit for that.
Oh.
The community gets credit for that, and this is important in this business. I've had several businesses in my life. I've always liked to do new, innovative, fun things, and that's always turned out to be kind of an entrepreneurial lifestyle. But this business is driven by the community of caretakers, the community of people who feel that pets are family. They let us know what they need, and our job is just to listen, to pay attention, and to give them the products that their dogs are asking them to ask us for.
Right.
Things like better harnessing systems, new innovations in boots, in splints, in all of our areas. We've come up with some new products, the Hippies and the Vertebrave.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the Hippies is a system for supporting the dog's hips. It helps with the cubital ulcers. There's a donut that'll fit in it. It can help. There's a device called the Cross Assist, which will help with the dogs who cross their back legs.
Oh, okay.
It's really a hip support product that can be a huge benefit to dogs with hip and joint problems.
Mm-hmm.
The Vertebrave is a back brace, but it's designed based on what the dogs have really been needing. There have been back braces before, but they haven't supported them in just the right positions with the right amount of pressure. This Vertebrave actually uses memory foam and has metal supports inside, which are removable.
Wow.
So that the memory foam will will conform to the dog's back and the dog's spine, while the metal strips will provide firm support. And then as the dog strengthens, you can remove the metal strips and give a less level of support. So all of this is basically stuff that you and your dogs have been asking for.
That's fantastic.
The whole business has been a community created business.
And what a great business. You find a need and fill it. And I love the fact that you decided to work with our canine companions.
Well, they decided to work with me.
Yeah. It sounds that way. You were talking about booties. So booties, of course, are an important factor for people caring for dogs with degenerative myelopathy or any sort of disease, degenerative or not, where the dog is knuckling under. Can you tell us a little bit about your booties? Because we get asked questions all the time about booties, and not all booties are created equal. So can you tell us about your booties?
Well, there's two levels of boots. There's a level of boots that's really just designed to protect the feet and keep them from scraping and hot pavement and the normal stuff. And those we've designed to fit and to stay on, which has always been a big problem. That was the problem in the industry. So we designed these in a contoured way with neoprene so that they'll stay on. The boots I think you might have been referring to are what we call our no-knuckling training sock. Mm-hmm. What we found is that as dogs begin to knuckle under, where they're walking on their knuckles instead of their paw pads, it becomes kind of habitual. It becomes almost a nerve disease as such. And we need to retrain the nerves and retrain the muscles to walk on their paw. So to do that, the no-knuckle training sock will wrap around their wrist and has a soft padded rubber elastic rope that goes between their toes to hold their toes to the front. And we use this in short periods. We don't keep it on the dog frequently. We use it in short periods to retrain the dog to walk on his paw. Okay.
I have seen that. I have seen that on your website. So would that be the no knuckling training sock? Would that be for a degenerative myelopathy dog, like in the beginning stages of DM, or will it work all the way through, or how would that work?
It'll work to the point where he still has control of his muscles and nerves. Once he loses control of that, then there is nothing to retrain. Right. The key here, and we'll see retraining in humans as well as we begin to deal with some disease. Sometimes there's new muscles and new tendencies we need to develop. So although there is no real clinical study as to when and how the knuckle training will work, it becomes pretty obvious. If you try it a few times and it's beginning to make a difference, then the dog does indeed have the capability to be retrained to walk on his paw. Mm-hmm. If not, then it's something that we're just going to have to live with. Right.
But the no knuckling training sock, of course, I feel it would benefit dogs with degenerative myelopathy in the beginning stages, but also other mobility issues as well, which could create knuckling under. So I'm just taking notes on that because I'm definitely going to be looking into the no knuckling training sock.
Our splints have also been very popular for that. Once a dog loses control of his paw and can't be retrained, our splints is a way to keep the dog's leg in the proper position. There's all kinds of reasons for splinting, and our line of splints, we have 5 different sizes to accommodate just about any size dog. Mm-hmm. But one of the innovations that we came up with based on what we were being asked to do as we were providing these splints we were getting concerned that they were too wide, or they weren't wide enough, that they needed to be adjustable. So we came out with the adjustable splint, which is a splint that can widen and that can change its angle for front or back, and split it in the position that we need.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Moving forward with that, we've come up with our and this is very recent. We've opened up a bracing department. So we're offering custom braces for dogs that need them.
Awesome. I love the versatility of the products, the splints. That's fantastic as well. We have a Walkin Pets. It's almost like a shoe. And it was for the front leg of one of our residents here, unfortunately, who had cancer, and we needed something to support to keep his paw covered, and to support his the bottom part of his leg. And of course, Walkin Pets was the first place I went to find this. Our vet said, well, this is what you need. Well, it's not like you're just walking into a pet supply store and picking up something like that. So of course I came home and ordered it. And I'll tell you, it was perfect, because first of all, it was super easy to clean. It was harder on the outside, and then I don't know if it was neoprene on the inside or not. I don't really quite remember.
No, it's a closed cell foam.
Okay. But it was super easy to clean. Of course, his foot was in there, so it was very easy to clean. Secondly, it was very easy on, very easy off. Now, this is a dog who had cancer. He had osteosarcoma. So I needed something that was going to, I couldn't wrangle something on this dog that we had. I had to place, gingerly, because I didn't want to hurt him. And that boot or shoe, splint, whatever you want to call it, was super easy. Splint. Booty splint. I'll tell you, it saved him. It saved him for a few more months.
So glad. Oh.
Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad to know that, because being in the position that I am, working with older German Shepherds, sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, this dog needs this dog needs that. And I don't have time to scour the internet for hours looking for a product that's actually going to work. And now that we have found Walkin Pets, and again, it's not like we just found Walkin Pets. We've been with your company, whether you know it or not, for a while now. I don't look anywhere else. You're our go-to source, because I know I can find what it is that I'm looking for, and it's going to be of quality, and it's going to be easy to use. So
that's what the dogs have asked for.
Yeah, absolutely. You have another product that we have actually used as well. So we've talked about splints, boots, the training socks, and the carts. We have one of your drag bags.
Awesome.
Yes. So, of course, the carts are fantastic for when the dogs are outside, or if you have a very big open environment indoors, which we don't have. We have rooms. And so the dogs, they still want to get around when they can. But obviously, they're pulling themselves. Their front end's still going, but their back end is dragging around, and it could get scraped up and bump into things. So can you tell us a little bit about the drag bag?
Yeah, the drag bag is really designed to accommodate the way dogs truly live indoors. Although wheelchairs work indoors, they get caught on door frames and on chair legs and can be annoying, especially the larger ones. The drag bag is a way to protect their stomach and their back end as they're dragging around the house on their front legs, as they do. And actually, there was an evolution to that product when we first created it. It was a solid bag around them, and I have a 501c3 called the Handicapped Pets Foundation, and that deals primarily. It has curriculums for fourth graders where fourth graders will take our products and invent stuff and things like this. And one of our team of fourth graders decided we needed a vent in the top of the drag bag there in Texas, and it was hot. It was a brand new product, and so they said you should put a vent in the top. And so now many of the drag bags have that vent in the top. In addition to that, we also were looking for ways to make it easier to help the dog move around inside. And so we put wheels on it. We have what's called the scooter, the walk-in scooter, which attaches to a specific drag bag, so that underneath the drag bag now you have some casters, and that lets the dog roll around really easily in the house. And that was actually an award-winning product. We won product of best in show at one of the conventions for that.
Yes, the walk-in scooter. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of a Roomba, and right. And then you put the dog on top of it, who is already in his drag bag, and then basically the wheels become his back legs, and he can still pull himself around with this. And I keep saying dogs, but really it's also for cats and other small animals as well, right? I mean, I've seen other animals use
anything that walks. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite stories was a young lady from Vermont came in one day with a chicken and asked if we would make a wheelchair for her chicken. She had brought it in the house to heal it after a fox attack, and had become so attached to it. The chicken could still move its legs, but it couldn't support its own weight. And so we built a wheelchair. It was a very simple, easy wheelchair, and allowed the chicken to move his legs and walk a little bit. So as soon as we did that, we sent out press releases. We thought it was great. We sent out pictures and press releases, and it went all over. A couple days later, I'm watching my favorite show, Saturday Night Live, and Weekend Update is on. And who should come on but Colin Jost, the newscaster there, and he said he puts a picture of our wheelchair up with the headline, "Company makes custom wheelchairs for chicken," and says, "Just eat the chicken."
Oh no!
But of course, is laughing. In the morning, I fire off a letter to him, say, this was somebody's pet. The local Boston station picked that up and came up here and interviewed the young girl, Aurora, about the chicken, whose name was Granite Heart. And at the end of the interview, they asked Aurora, "So what did you think of the Saturday Night Live piece?" And she said, "Well, I know it was meant to be funny, and everybody laughed, but it wouldn't have been so funny if it had been a dog."
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you were able to create a wheel cart for her beloved chicken, to continue, and hopefully he has made a full recovery. At least he's in his wheel cart getting around. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We've done ducks, chickens, rabbits. We did a wheelchair for a turtle. We've done miniature horses, cows, a lot of goats. Goat is a very popular pet. Pigs. The move around the planet of pets as family is not only global, but it's also all pets. Who we choose to have in our family is a personal choice.
Yes,
it's
absolutely,
and it goes cross species.
Yes, it is. It does go beyond compassionate or companion pets to what others would consider livestock or farm animals. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we love the drag bag and the scooter. Absolutely love it. I have to say about the scooter, it's actually, I said it was like a Roomba, but actually up top it's kind of like in a U shape, I guess, for the, I don't know, better position of the body when the dog is laying down. But it definitely works. Another product that we have that unfortunately we have had to use a few times, especially with degenerative myelopathy dogs, is the Walkin Pet transporter stretcher.
Gotcha, yeah.
It's fantastic. I mean, when I say that, I guess people automatically assume this giant stretcher, but it's not. It's literally folded up. I don't know if it's like heavy duty nylon at the top of my head. I'm not really sure. I know it's red. And we have it here in a closet, and there's, handles on each corner, and you can lay it on the ground and maneuver the dog over onto it. And then there's like straps that you can strap the dog in, and then it requires either 2 or 4 people to lift the dog. But it's safe. It's very safe and easy. Especially for larger dogs. That's when you have a larger dog with DM and they really can't maneuver around. This product is a lifesaver to get a dog in and out of a car. Let's say they can't use a ramp or they're afraid to use a ramp. This product is fantastic because it can literally go from your kitchen floor if you want with the dog, 2 people carrying the dog out and then lay it in the back of the vehicle very, very comfortably and very safely. So
lifesaver is right. And this product was recommended by somebody who had come across a dog in the road and wanted to help the dog, but had no way to help it. With this stretcher, it gives you the ability, and it's got 6 handles. It's got 2 in the middle and 1 in each corner so that you can provide support to lift the dog. We have people who just drive with one in the trunk, sometimes taking a dog home from a vet or a vet hospital where it needs to be supported, and using this stretcher enables us to transport a dog safely and effectively without having to add stress by carrying it around the legs or around the back end. But, the stretcher has been a great resource to lots of caretakers.
It has. We've had people borrow it who knew that we had it, and unfortunately that they had to take their dog for that final journey to the vet and wanted to borrow that. Years ago, we had another stretcher that somebody had actually purchased for us. It was very big and very cumbersome, and just quite an ordeal to actually use.
For people.
Yeah, it was something similar. So when this product came along, I actually purchased it for the sanctuary. I thought, oh yeah, listen, anything that's going to help, and not be an ordeal to use is what we're looking for. And that stretcher is fantastic.
Another idea that we got around the time that we were looking at this was, we noted, you'll notice a lot of times when you leave the vet's office, they'll give you a towel to hold the dog, where you grab the towel and you lift it kind of by its belly. Not a great way to carry a dog, and it's cumbersome. So what we came up with was a belly support that Velcros around the dog's belly and gives you handles. So it's really just a comfortable, convenient, easy to lift towel.
Right.
A lot of these ideas just come to us from caretakers who have problems that we can solve.
Well, years and years ago, the towel is actually what I used for Woody. Again, he started with degenerative myelopathy in 2009, and the internet just wasn't the same back then. I mean, I didn't know. I was so green. I just didn't know. And hold on. Sorry, we have beagles who are right next door to us, and they just came out. So our gang has to let them know we're here.
There's nothing wrong with having dogs barking in a podcast about dogs.
Yeah, but the towel, obviously, it digs into areas that you really don't want it to dig into, and it does become uncomfortable and inconvenient. So that support also is a step in the right direction. Another product that we have of Walkin Pets is your pet steps, the extended pet steps. It's more like a series of platforms as opposed to steps. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's just that's a product that was requested by a number of dog owners. It's a very convenient way to help help a dog get up into a car. The problems that all pet caretakers around the world have are very consistent.
Mhm.
Getting upstairs, getting into the cars, things like this. And this was just what we found to be the one of the solutions that works really well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, the pet steps, the extended pet steps,
Mhm.
what I like about them for our residents here, whether they have degenerative myelopathy or not, is that they are wide. They literally are like what is it, four platforms that
Yeah, we
go
have
from the
4 and
ground
5.
up. Is
Mhm.
that what it is? 4 or
We
5?
have 4 and 5. We have both.
I think ours is 4. Now that I think about it, I think ours is 4. But and also the surface, the material that you put on the top part of the steps, it provides security for our residents with mobility issues, because sometimes ramps have a tendency to either be too rough or scratchy, or they're hard plastic and the dogs don't feel comfortable. But these, it's almost like a rug that you have
Mhm.
on there, and it does provide security for our residents here at the sanctuary.
Thrilled that it's working so well for you.
Yeah, well, we're thrilled. Like I said, we're thrilled with your products. Absolutely. So Mark, is there anything else that you're working on for a new product?
Um, well, the most recent announcement has been the braces, the
Braces. Okay.
orthotics and prosthetics. That's something that I'm really excited about. It's the way it works is if your dog needs a brace, and you'll often be told that by a professional.
Mhm.
If your dog needs an orthosis, you'll make a cast of your dogs. You'll order a casting kit. The casting kit gives you everything you need to make a plaster cast of your dog's leg, or you can take it to the vet and have the vet make the cast.
Mhm.
You send us the cast, and we create a custom brace for the dog. It's not something. It's the kind of thing that can't really be adjustable yet.
Right.
It has to be exactly fitting for the dog because of the dog's comfort and the number of different um, afflictions that could require it. But to be able to provide this kind of custom bracing to customers all over is really going to be a major boost forward for maintaining the health of dogs.
Right. Fantastic. We will be on the lookout for that for sure. Um, Mark, where can people find out more about Walkin Pets by Handicapped Pets?
Well, Walkin Pets, actually, for those who've known us for a long time, I started the company as handicappedpets.com. About 5 years ago, we decided to make the name a little more positive and move to Walkin Pets. So we've been calling it Walkin Pets by handicappedpets.com, just so that people don't think we're a new company. Yeah, we're the same guys who were here 20 years ago with the message board. Walkinpets.com is the name of the website. And one of the things I really recommend everybody do who's interested in this is follow our blog. We have a brilliant blog which constantly comes up with new ideas, timely topics, talks about some of the problems that we're all facing, and can just be a real great place to get new information.
Okay.
The website is Walkin Pets or Walking Pets, both work, or handicappedpets.com. They all get there. And we also still have the original forum, the forum where people can get into some in-depth discussions. Can be seen most easily at handicappedpets.net, where you can log on to this forum and really be a part of a community now with maybe 10,000 people and 100,000 messages, all help and support.
Okay, so that is handicappedpets.net. That's
Right.
where the forum is.
Right.
Okay.
Or you can get there from our website.
Oh, you can. Okay. I'll be sure to put that in our show notes.
Thank you.
With a clickable link. This way people can just click right on it and be able to find you. And then of course you're on social media as well.
Absolutely. We have a team of videographers and video editors that create these absolutely wonderful videos and music videos and actually our music video, Michaela Thean, who is a singer songwriter and videographer, has created an award-winning kind of music video for Handicapped Pets.
Oh, really?
And several different watching the videos and watching pets enjoying themselves and half a dozen pets running down the beach.
I love seeing that. Yes.
Me too. And everybody loves seeing that. Great way to wake up and start your day.
Yes, I've actually been on your social media and I've seen those videos, and honestly, it's almost like a rabbit trail that I get pulled down and then I realize the 20 minutes has gone by. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to get back to work because it's such a feel good story. Each one is such a feel good story because at the end of the day, our dogs, like you said, they are family, and we want what's best for them, and we want them to keep moving and be comfortable for as long as possible. And Walkin Pets has definitely been a game changer for our pets.
Our calendar contest is coming up. Do you know about our annual calendar contest?
No, tell us about it.
We've been doing this now for about 5 years, and what happens is dogs from around the world enter their photos, and we get thousands of photos from. I think we had 22 different countries last year, all around the world, and then they're voted on social media, and the winners get a place in our annual calendar. And it's actually a wonderful process that we all love here.
And how would someone enter for that contest?
If you go on the website, there'll be a link to the calendar contest.
Okay, I will be sure to provide a link for that in the.
That's actually starting June 20th. As of June 20th, there'll be a link to the calendar contest.
All right. Well, I will be sure to add that June 20th. I'll say, the website, but June 20th. Look for it on or after June 20th.
And if people sign up for our mailing list, they will certainly know about it.
All right. Wonderful. I'll